Hey team, Patrick here. If you've reached a plateau in your tennis and are looking to get to the next level, then you've clicked on the right video. And this might be one of the most valuable lessons I've recorded on this channel, as we're going to look at your receiving skills. Receiving skills should be a priority for you to work on, as no two balls in tennis are ever the same. And your ability to read the ball and get set up properly is obviously what affects your overall contact with the ball, which is everything. So let's get into it. Now, I've been working a lot on receiving skills with my players, as it's a great way to start the new year. Recapping these basics when you might have had a couple of weeks off the court, but also my coaching philosophy has changed over the last 15 years or so. I used to be very technical. And even though, of course, I still believe that technique is important in terms of injury prevention, or if you have a flaw in your game that will hold you back at the next level, then as a coach, I'll make a change. But I'm probably the least technical that I've ever been, and I'm also concentrating on other areas of the game. You may be familiar with what we call in coaching the 5 R's, which stand for ready, read, react, racket or respond, and recover. This is the cycle you go through on every shot except the serve. And in this lesson, we'll look at the first 3. So ready, read, and react. As when looking at your shots, I believe you start from the ground up. You look at what your feet are doing first before you get into what you're doing with the arm. So the ready position sounds obvious, but are you actually hitting the checkpoints you need? And in my players, I look for an athletic base with your feet wider than your shoulders, bent knees, and lean forwards. So it gets your weight on the balls of your feet and off your heels. The ready position also includes the split step. You should be in the air as your opponent hits the ball. So you land in this ready condition. You're primed and engaged with your eyes, as this is not a ready position. And I think so many players could improve if they were just more ready. Next, before we can move, we need to read the ball. We need to make these observations while the ball's in the air. Specifically, is it coming to your forehand or backhand? But also characteristics like the depth and the spin. And one of my favorite drills is for players to call it out. For example, forehand or backhand as early as possible. Can you identify the direction of the ball before it crosses the net and reaches your side of the court? How early you react has a direct correlation on the quality of your shot, and for me is an indicator of a player's level. We want to turn our upper body and set the racket to the side as early as possible. You can't make this first move too early. And beginner players tend to prepare after the ball bounces, which is why they're often late on the ball and rushed. Intermediate level players will prepare before the bounce, so as the ball crosses the net, but the pros will be preparing as the ball crosses the service line on their opponent's side of the court. So almost immediately as it comes off their opponent's strings. There was a picture they used to show on coach education courses. I think it was of Agassi and Sampras, and the ball was here, having left one player's racket, and the player on the other side had already started to react and prepare their shot. But we at least want to be in position behind the ball by the time the ball bounces. We call it beating the bounce, which is one of my favorite phrases to use. Also, make sure your setup matches your intention and what you want to do with the ball. For example, your body position for the direction, cross court or down the line, and your grip and racket position to influence the spin. Right team, these fundamentals are super important to work on for beginners all the way to pros. The pros will have less time to react than recreational players, so thinking about technique would only eat into that time. Instead, focus on where the ball's going, how early you can see it, and what you're going to do with the ball. If this video has helped, then please leave it a like and a comment down below and subscribe to the channel so you can check out more of my other videos on how to read the ball and receiving skills, and I'll see you on court in the next one. Cheers guys.